Hi, today we will see how we can create child process or do multi-threading using fork. So there are various ways, and in our previous tutorial we have seen what is like exec file, then spawn and fork. Those are the four ways by which we can actually create asynchronously different processes or different threads. Later we will see how we can create child processes using spawn, exe and exe files. Also we will see how to create synchronously, like in a blocking way, like spawn sync, then we had exec sync and exec file sync. So let's see how we can create child process using fork. So for that I had created two JS files. One is app.js, which is the main thread, and another is child.js, which is the child process or the child code that will be running. So from child process we will import fork. So what fork does is like fork will run a separate V8 engine, and the main difference between fork and spawn, as already explained in earlier tutorial, the link will be provided in the description below. So instead of fork, if we use spawn, then it will create another child process but in the same V8 engine. But if we are using fork, it will create another child process but in a different V8 engine. Using spawn also we can create. So in that case we need to do is like spawn then node.child.js, which is same as fork child.js, but fork internally maintains it in a more efficient way. So let's see in details how fork works. So I had forked child.js and I have assigned it to my child process. So first is like we will communicate between main thread and the child process by using .send. So my child process .send, it will send this as a string, and we can fetch it or we can print it using process.onMessage, and the listener will have the message like message from parents message. So if we run the application like node app, which is our parent class, so we can see that hello world is printed, message from parent. I'll just stop it. And similarly we have seen here message from child and is being printed by line 8, message from child msg, and it is also an event emitter, and the listener is this function or this callback. So when it is invoked, when in the child process, if we use process.send, so it will send to the parent object, and on message it will be received. Similarly we had like exit. So when exit is invoked, let's check. So exit is invoked when the current process or the child process is done with its execution, like process.exit. So what we will do is like the set interval or this function runs after every 1 second, and it will increment the counter by 1 every time and send it to its parent object. So once it is like 10, what we will do is like we will exit from this child process, and it should invoke this one. So we can pass some code, like if we see, we can see that it accepts number. So we can emit like some message like 1 or 0. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's done. So if we don't specify anything, then it will emit 0. You can see that message is 0, and if we specify 1 and save it, I will shorten it to 2 seconds. So you can see that child process terminated with message 1. Similarly, using my child process.pid, we can check what is the PID or the process ID of the child process that has been created by fork. So if we see here, every time we can see that the connection status for the child process, so it will not be connection status, it would be like checking the PID. if we run the application, we can see that every time the process ID changes. And now suppose I want to kill the child function from my parent class, not from my child class. So I will just omit this piece of code. So it will keep on running. Okay, but I want to kill it from my parent class. So in that case, what we will do is like we can use my child process dot kill. I will just uncomment it. So here we will kill if the counter is 5, and we'll increment it here each time, and first time we will print what is the status. Okay, let's save it and run the application. So we can see that the status of child process is false, false, false. Then we had true, and it got terminated. So it also invoked this my process dot on exit method, and it got terminated by using dot kill function. Similarly, we can use dot kill function like process dot kill function, and if we pass the PID like process ID, then also it can be killed. Node app.js 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had killed it. But we had killed it through process.kill. So in that case, this will still be false because it is not killed using my child process.kill function. That's all for this tutorial. In our next tutorial, we will see how to debug a child process. Till then, have a nice day. Stay home, stay safe.